Good morning. Is there anybody out there? We are live. I had to introduce my Wallflowers shirt, my newly acquired Wallflowers shirt from the concert last night. I need a lot of caffeine this morning. I am freaking tired. You know you're getting old when you go out, get home around midnight, and don't drink, and you still feel like you're hungover the next morning. That's pretty sad. Pretty sad. Ooh, the song's up. That's my introductory song. So why are all these emojis up? Get out of there. Get out of there. You still feel like you're hungover then. Pretty sad. Alrighty. Whoever's here, whoever's not here, you'll see it later. Even though YouTube pretends that nobody's seeing it. Good morning. Welcome to the stream that's competing with Scott Adams this morning, if you could believe it. What do we call Scott? I don't even know what the hell to call him. I can't think this morning. I'm tired, man. So I'm going to start this stream talking about this concert I went to last night. That's why. You like my Wallflowers shirt? I guess I should go this way. The Wallflowers, for those who don't know, are a band. I guess you could categorize them as a one-hit wonder. I never really looked at them that way, but they really are. They really are. And I don't know if I need this earpiece. Let me try the other one, because I had such an echo with this thing. Maybe, let's see. Maybe the echo will be reduced. Nope. I'll see. I may ditch it. But... So the Wallflowers came out in the later 70s. Led by Jacob with a K, have to spell it properly with the K, Jacob Dylan, Bob Dylan's son. And they had one hit. I never looked at them as a one-hit wonder, but they really are. They are a one-hit wonder, almost like the Bay City Rollers with Saturday Night. I mean, they had one hit that charted on the Billboard chart. And that hit, though, One Headlight, has 250 million views on YouTube. So, yeah, I, like many, remember that hit. Maybe if Josh is still watching this, he was a little preteen back then. I think he was, well, Josh, what were you, 12 or 13? Maybe that was like your time, man. That's when you got into this stuff. I don't even know how to describe their music. They're kind of like a grungy, melancholy Nickelback. They were almost like the prototypical Nickelback. I know some people are going to be like, what, are you crazy? But that's, hearing the whole concert, it was sludgy. Like, I don't mean sludgy in a bad way. I mean like sludgy, like the slow parts of When the Levee Breaks, or like Strawberry Fields, when you have that slowing down the tape. It's kind of like if you slow down parts of like a Nickelback concert and it gets into that cool sludge. It's sort of sounded like that. But it was a good concert, good musicians. I think he's replaced most of them, but Dylan is the lead guy. So it was very entertaining. I like to talk about music here. I did record one headlight. I put on my Facebook page, but quite honestly, unless I put it on BitChute, maybe I'll put it on Odyssey. Then does Odyssey populate to BitChute and maybe Rumble? Because after I got that stupid strike on YouTube, censoring YouTube, which I'll get into, but you know what? I don't think I need this. Let me take these out. Yeah, that's a little better. I already have a headache. These earbuds are giving me more of a headache. So look, I have to start with my customary whining and complaining about a few things. One of them is this freaking concert. It was general admission, which I normally don't do, so they removed all the seats at the concert hall where I normally go to. So instead of your normal 500, 600 seats, they packed in almost 1,000. I think they sold 910 tickets. Now, the doors opened at 7, and we decided to get there at 6:30, I believe, thinking like, there's going to be a long line. And I said, I resigned myself to say, I wasn't like, I like a few of the Wallflowers songs. I wasn't like a huge fan. So I didn't care if I wasn't up front. But, when we got there, I was surprised. There wasn't a lot of people in line yet. So when they finally opened the doors, we managed to skedaddle to the front. Now, we weren't running because that's just kind of like uncouth. But, we got there and there was one Karen in particular. I mean, she was a complete Karen. I mean, she must have been like the key demo for this guy. And she looked like in her 40s. So maybe she was like 15, 16 when these guys were popular with their one hit. And she had this like strange mug. And she takes a spot. Everyone starts filing in the front of the stage, because you get there early and you have to wait over an hour. And I'm like, yeah, I want my spot. But like I said, I didn't, rush to get there. So she spreads her arm out like this, and I get there, and she looks at me, she goes, that spot's for my husband. She goes, you can't miss him. He's a big guy. I'm like, I don't give a crap. I said, look, I'm thinking to myself, you can't like claim a spot in the beginning when there's a mass throng of people walking to the same spot. If he wanted this spot, he should have walked his rear to the spot. And I basically took it. I put my arm over there and grabbed the rail. And I'm like, too bad, Looking at her, with disdain. I wasn't going to put up with that crap. So, needless to say, her husband comes back. He was a big guy. He was like 6'3". I'm only like 5'10", so. But still, he was like kind of flabby. I wasn't like intimidated by the guy at all. And I was like, what was he going to do, fight me? I'm from New York, man. And we're always up for a throwdown. But this guy was such a dick. He stuck his foot out, like he wouldn't move. He was like a stone. I was just getting so damn annoyed. And she looked like a witch, too. She just had the mug of a witch. You could just picture her on a broom, going, like the freaking wicked witch. She honestly had that witch, and I don't mean in a good way, like a gothic, made up way. So I'm just annoyed. Right off the bat, I'm annoyed. And they had the opening act. Some guy came out, Rosales. He was okay. He had a guitar. Every song sounded the same. He's like, and my next song, he had the same 3 chords. And, I think it's one of those things that the guy probably wrote some good songs, but doing it solo was hard to pull off because without a band behind you to embellish some of it, you know, I think if you fleshed out the songs, it would have been better. But it was okay. And anyway, so we met a lot of people there because I am a corporate sponsor of the concert hall. And I decided, well, you know, I stood my ground. I'm like, I'm not moving, you know. And the guy, you could tell he was pissed. But I was like, too bad. Now, in front of us, though, even more, you know, amazingly, there were two women. I mean, they looked like friggin' geriatrics, like octogenarians. I don't know. One looked like she was 80. The other one looked in their 70s. The one which they discourage you, she had this huge-ass purse. I mean, this thing was like this big, and they tell you don't bring big purses. And they tell you you can't bring in drinks. You know, sure enough, her purse is like taking up the width of a freaking human, and she had bottles in there. Don't ask me how she got by security, because they scan everything. And then her friend had this giant backpack that was hitting me. Every time she moved, this backpack's hitting me. I'm like, for F's sake, man, you know, it's just, people are so damn clueless. So I'm getting annoyed to death. So this older guy and his son that we met, we were talking about concerts. He was telling me how he saw Zeppelin in '73, peak power Zeppelin, when they released Houses of the Holy. I was jealous. I was like, damn, that had to be a killer show. That's before Robert Plant, you know, lost some of his vocal range, and probably just before he had his surgery. So, you know, we were kind of very friendly. And the kid's son was very massive, wide. He was wide like a linebacker. You know, not super tall, but wide. And the dad was really old, though. Like a big age discrepancy between the father and son. It appeared to be anyway. So at some point, my wife said, you know, we looked at each other and she said, you know, because the dad kept having to like literally sit down on the floor because his back hurt. So my wife pulled the like ultimate power move, and I was so glad because I didn't think of it. Not because I'm inconsiderate, but it just didn't dawn on me because I'm so distracted by all the morons around me. So she said to the guy, you know, would you like to basically take the spot that I had held to the front, you know, holding on like with this a-hole to the left of me, these you know, these octogenarians in front of me, and all kinds of other stuff going on the right. So he took it, right? So you could tell the people next to me, that Karen and her doofy husband, right? They didn't know how to react because now this frail old guy is there. And they were total buttholes because they could have condensed to everyone standing in the front could have condensed and probably opened up you know, spots for like at least 4 people, but they refused to do so, especially the Karen and her husband. And that's what really ticked me off. Because first of all, they tried to claim spots that weren't theirs. But then this old guy, he starts sitting right there next to this, and the doofy dork, you know, he had some like Alabama football shirt on, you know, and I gave him the dirtiest look. And and you know, part of me, like, look, I'm getting old. It's not like I want to get in a scuffle. I have a lot to lose if I get in a scuffle. But part of me was like, yeah, I hope he says something to me. I just wanted to tell him off so bad. So eventually they somehow magically found a way to like slide over so this poor old guy could sit down. And you could tell they like were so flustered. They couldn't figure out what to do, how to handle, because now they couldn't be total assholes to a frail old guy. And I was like high-fiving my wife mentally, like, yeah, what a power move, you know, you go, girl. So, you know, once we accomplished that, at least I was happy because you could tell they were like so pissed off that they had to slide like 6 inches to the left. You know, they had to give ground, their territory, like dogs that had pissed on a spot and wanted to maintain it. Now, then we had some, you know, older, like, you know, Greta Thunberg looking woman that, you know, like the, I don't know, 55-year-old version of Greta Thunberg, very wide. She just like bulldozed through people, ends up next to me, inexplicably. Everyone's looking around like, who the F is this now all of a sudden? I'm like barreling into my wife. Everyone's afraid to say something. So I said, look, excuse me. I looked at her to the left. I said, you can't I said, I'm almost knocking over my wife here. You can't just barrel in here and expect that everyone's just going to, be squashed and knock everybody over. I said, I can't even move my feet. I said, I'm sorry. You're going to have to go back where you came from. And everyone was like shocked that I said this. And I'm like, you know what? No, you can't have this spot. Go away, basically, And she looked like... It was almost like a dog that gives you that. And I'm like, yeah, get the F out of here. Goodbye. Goodbye. Bye-bye. And, eventually she left and everyone was like, oh, thank you. Thank you. I'm like, well, how the hell did people let her get this far all the way to the front row? For the love of God, Like, couldn't somebody stop her? There's this... inactivity, there's this, I don't know, like people are scared. I'm like, no, man, speak up. Just tell people what the hell is going on. Now, because I mentioned there's a lot of like way older people, made me feel young though, which is a good thing. Now, there was a couple of young people peppered in. Now, my wife, I don't even think knew who the hell the Wallflowers were when I got the tickets. And, she knew, I sent her one headlight because I know she remembered that song. But you got to remember, at that time, for me, we had, my youngest son was around when they had their big hit. He was like 4 or 5, and my younger son was like 2. And when you have little kids, I'm sure if Styx is ever watching this, he'll tell you, you kind of like don't have a lot of time for pop culture or, current music. You go through like a decade and a half where you lose all that stuff. Believe me, if you raise kids, you know what I'm talking about. But anyway, because my wife looks good, very good, I'm not exaggerating. Jacob Dylan kept sort of like flirting with her in a very nice way and ignoring all these hags. And now that leads me to my, and when I say that, like for instance, she used 2 hands to wave for some reason. And he goes, I'm not deaf. I could hear you, just joking with her because he's like, you only need 1 hand. Things like that, very innocent. And he's 53, by the way. And she looked him up, and I'll tell you something else that was kind of funny. Back in the day, when I became more well-to-do in life, I remember one of the people on my financial team. And this is before I had to pay my huge tax to the government, though. She's like, oh, my God, you're worth more than Britney Spears. I'm like, really? Well, I have no idea. Assuming that what you read on the internet is even true, because you don't know if that, like, celebrity net worth and that stuff is even accurate. So, sometimes I look and I'm like, well, hey, man, I might be doing better than Jacob Dylan. However, the caveat is Bob Dylan, then you look up. I'm always curious about that stuff. I like, in fact, like how you could look up somebody like Trump and they don't change his net worth, even though real estate has exploded. So I'm sure that that's like completely inaccurate. Just from the real estate holding point of view, I'm sure his value has gone up quite a bit. But anyway, Bob Dylan sold his catalog to, I don't know, one of these record companies, and he, I think, received $400 million. Now, I know you pay tax on that, so I'm not quite sure what he was worth before that. Now, I think he's also guaranteed like $15 million in royalties every year. Not a bad gig. So they peg his worth at $520 million, so well over $500 million. So Jacob, I think he's one of 5 kids. He'll have a nice inheritance, a nice estate, regardless, at some point in time. Now, before I move on to other things, though, the witch, the wicked witch to the left, the wicked witch of not of the west, of the left, the wicked witch of the left. She was like, look. I'm not picking on women, but I have to tell you, I have seen this very rarely with some men, but rarely for anecdotally, my experience. But a lot of times, there's like this weird group of women, kind of like mid-30 to 50, that they spaz out at concerts like they're having a friggin' epileptic seizure. So the Wicked Witch of the Left, she was like, all of a sudden, like, blah, 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 like, you know, every song, like, had no rhythm whatsoever. And it was like she's trying to get Jacob Dylan's attention. And thank God he completely blew her off, never acknowledged her once. There was a younger blonde girl next to her, and he did acknowledge her, thank God. And everything she was doing, flailing her arms up and just like grossly exaggerated body moves, like, look at me, look at me. Not that she was even attractive anyway, but it failed. It was to no avail. I was so happy. That was like the show within the show. Like, is she, you know, going to receive any attention from Jacob Dylan? Whereas my wife was, honest to God, she was receiving the lion's share of it. And because we were standing almost right in front of him too. So she didn't. And I was so happy. Her and her dorky husband. And let me see, was there anything? Yeah, and that was pretty much it. I have to say, like, I don't know that I would ever do that again, though. Like, general admission, the tickets were cheap, but I had no idea that you're going to be, you know, squashed like a sardine, and then you have to deal with, like, these morons that think they're, like, you know, 16 years old, where they can push their way up to the stage, you know, because homie don't play that game, you know, we're allowed, you know, somebody touches me and we're, you know, like when you're from New York, you have your radar up all the time, right? Like somebody just breathes on you. And you know, like older people, they bump in, oh, I'm sorry, oh, excuse me, you know, that's just, you know, and I do that too. If I hit, oh yeah, excuse me, you know, I don't, you know, want people invading my space and stuff. But you get people, they drink, right? And then at the end, people throw all their crap on the floor. I'm like, where the hell do you people live? A freaking barn? I mean, for the love of God, pick up your crap and throw it in the garbage. And as a corporate sponsor, I demand better, you know, clean up the place that I'm sponsoring. I think that's it for the Wallflowers. And I would recommend the concert if you have an opportunity to see it. They was performed very well. They sound good. They sound tight as a band. And that's the end of that. You know, as far as general admission, if you want to stand for, you know, 4 hours, good luck. I don't think I would do it again. Thank God I don't have to. So on the subject of concerts, though, now I will say, and I think I brought it up in the beginning, I did not want to film for, you know, YouTube because of the crap they pulled. They are censoring, by the way. Styx mentioned this. And his live stream today, it's absolutely 100% certain that they're either shadow banning, algorithmically suppressing. In my case, I notice these live streams, they keep reducing the views. It's the weirdest thing. Like, I mean, these views are so minimal compared to other live streamers. It's like, dude, you are not going to get any traction. We're going to make sure of it. You know, I still have Yahoo Mail. So Yahoo is run by the leftist of leftoids, and you put a comment on there. I don't know if they're bots even at this point, but they swarm every topic that they allow comments, because for a long time, Yahoo got rid of comments. But now it's like automatically any topic, and it's just like left, like dominate and just dogpile you if you say anything. And, you know, sometimes you might agree with a position that's not right or left, but it's just, you could tell, it's so artificially gaslit, these things. But for whatever reason, my hunch is that YouTube, you know, in preparation of the 24 election, which is next year, right? We're already close to May. They're on like a jihad to purge, man. They're purging wrong thing, purging anything that that doesn't align with the established point of view, is my take. Which is sad because it costs some money, you know. And I'm glad, Patrick, that you got notifications. Sometimes I get notifications from people that I follow. Sometimes I don't. Anyway, so up next on my concert list, though, by the way, is Billy Idol, second row. Peter Frampton, fourth row, because I was in the frickin' John when I get this notification. As a sponsor, I get early notice. I think I've mentioned this before. But I'm literally sitting on the toilet. I get this email pop up. Tickets are on sale now. You know, you got like blah, blah, blah. And I'm like getting it. I get on the queue, but it's like Ticketmaster says, what's your password? I'm like, shit, I don't know. And I'm yelling at my wife. She's like, can I come in I'm like, no, I'm on the toilet. Get on Ticketmaster now. So that cost us probably the first couple of rows, and we ended up with fourth row for Peter Frampton. I don't think I saw Peter Frampton when I was young, and he's got a lot of good songs. If you have Frampton Comes Alive, that was a pretty epic album. And let's see, we have Billy Idol, Frampton, Robert Plant, first row, thank God. And then like this Beatles cover band, which I was like hesitant, but you know, everyone says it's great. I think they do Rubber Soul, Up to Rubber Soul, and that's first row at the concert hall. So thank God I don't have to, you know, contend with people there. And I was actually talking to the friends of the concert hall because they set up everything and try to get donations. And somebody heard me say, yeah, I have first row. And at the end of the concert, she's like, can I buy some Beatles tickets off you? I'm like, no, I don't sell tickets. What the hell do I look like, a ticket stand? She's like, I wanted to take my father. Meanwhile, I'm waiting for my wife to come out of the bathroom. And, you know, I was waiting for her to say, who the hell is this you're talking to? I'm like, I don't know. She wants tickets. I should have scalped my Beatles tickets. Yeah, if you want to give me like, you know, 10 times the price. So that's what's going on with the concert update. So if you like any of the live concert footage that I do take, I'll put it on BitChute. It may get on Rumble and on Odyssey. So that's where you would see that. And in this particular case, I have one concert. In fact, let me see if I could pull up some pictures to show you. I do put the pictures on Facebook, and the songs. For some reason, Facebook, you could put whatever the hell you want. There's no like copyright on there. Here's like I turned off the sound because, like I said, there's a Jacob doing his thing, 53 years old. He sounds good though. I thought he was bald under that hat, but let me see if I just have static pictures. He's peering out. It's clear on my phone. Here's his guitarist rocking out on the acoustic. You know, not for nothing, but like, to me, if your dad's Bob Dylan and he's like, you know, considered one of the greatest songwriters of all time, man, get him to frickin' write you some songs, dude. It's been like 25 years. 25 years, have him write you some hits. I'd be like, Dad, can you write? I can't, you know, it's been 25 years since I had a hit. For the love of God, can't you do anything for me? Maybe it's a pride thing. Who knows? Anyway, so that's the show. You know, Sticks brought up, not that I'm going to focus on everything he said, but it's not just him either. Like this Budweiser topic, right? This Budweiser people are upset over their spokesperson, whatever. I've said this a million times, and I'm just going to reiterate. Why doesn't, if people don't like this stuff, you know, I just say from a strategic point of view, man, these companies that you don't like for whatever reason, right? Why don't you paint them as like, do what the left does, paint them as like the evil colonizers, you know? I mean, all you have to do is have that narrative of like, all you have to go back in history, right? Well, this company, you know, was around during, you know, the slave days. They discriminate. There's so much mud you could sling at these woke companies, but instead of like reacting to just a marketing ploy on their part, why don't you like pretend you're on the left and attack it like they would? Because basically now the left is like an extortionist racket. It reminds me of like when Jesse Jackson had the Rainbow Coalition and they would go to every company to force like diversity and force donations. It's just the Rainbow Coalition on steroids is what the left does. Whether you support them or not, it's the fact, right? They did it with BLM. They do it now with the LGBT trans movement. And they do it by implying that, if you don't support us, you're racist. Well, you could flip that script. It's not that hard, but nobody seems to do it. What they do is react to every little stupid thing. So my advice to those that, give a crap about this kind of stuff is use this. For me, it's just entertaining, It's entertaining to see. And it would... it would be nice to see the two cultures clash and butt heads like that. Because I'd like to see how a company actually reacts to that, personally. Like, if all of a sudden you're attacked, let's say from the right, but from a more left point of view, that puts you in an untenable position. That actually would almost like necessitate that you back out of any political position altogether, right? Because if you feel like, well, hell, now we're going to be attacked for not being, for like our history is going to be brought up if we do this, if we offend this segment, and now they're going to look at how we employed people in the 1800s in the case of Anheuser-Busch, right? For all we know, they were freaking supporting segregationists, right? Just do the history on the company, who was involved, who they contributed to politically, focusing on Anheuser-Busch, even though they're owned by InBev, the Belgians, and just... for whatever reason, nobody thinks to do that, So I'm giving you a pearl, wisdom. Take my advice if you're, so inclined and you want to use some critical thinking on how to address these problems that you don't like. Anyway, let's see. That's all I have on the political front. Okay, now if anyone's left, it's time to unbox some more Atom toys, and I got them back here. I didn't do this last time. They were too big, but I said, you know what? I will do it today because you know what? I have to do it anyway. I might as well do it on camera with my box cutter. Remember, the box cutter that felled jumbo jets with hundreds of people. And then the jumbo jets proceeded to... Well, we all know what they did. We all know. Ooh, I like this one. I like it. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. This is nice. I like this. Ooh, it's an atom rocket, a rare atom rocket. Let's get this bigger. Look at that. Bum, bum, bum. How cool is that? Yeah. So let me shrink this. Oh, did I make it too big? There we go. We need more comments. Josh, where are you? You're the one that wanted to see these Atom toys last time. Wow, this is really well sealed. This came from Japan. Very spirited bidding, I might add. I don't know even what the final price was. My accounting is crap, but I have to go back and figure it out. This is... No, it's a version. Ooh, nice. Nice, nice, nice. I'm making a mess on my floor, but... Radio. Dun, 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 dun. Wow, this is a nice piece. Look at that rubber cone. Thank God it didn't fall off. It's really nice and shiny. This is the Atom, I think there's 3 versions of this. And I might, well, I'll have possibly 2. I will make, you know, my usual videos on these, but wow, that is so freaking sweet. Sweet. And it's got a box. You know, this box looks like it could be authentic, too. I'm not saying that it is. I'm just saying it looks like it could be. There's the box again. Nice graphics, huh? Oh, there's 4 more of these? Damn. That'll cost me a ton of money to get. So, wow. That's really cool. I'm going to put him... let's put him over here. I don't think you can see. Oh, yeah, you can see it over there. Look at that. So that is one of 2. Oh, what a mess I have here. Let's see what else is down here. Damn, this is big. Do you know, like, YouTube has some kind of, as my dad calls them, rules and regulations regarding weaponry, let's say. Even regarding toy GUNSs, right? So technically, you know, they could, in theory, believe it or not, they could strike your whole channel for talking about, like, toy guns. Imagine, like, you're showing a freaking ray gun from the 1950s, a valuable antique ray gun, or, you know, whatever, BB guns. But, you know, in my case, it would be like these rare space guns and things like that. I'm doing my other Atom unboxing. Oh, wow, this has a box, too. Damn. Damn. By the way, I'm very excited. They're putting shutters on my building today. Is that a... No, it's a Japanese, Patrick. Hat's the second best one. Oh, that's the second best rocket? Is that what you mean, Josh? I do need hats. By the way, see this hat? This here is the lunar... That's the lunar module. I got this at the Kennedy Space Center. And it's like a... Almost like a... It's not metal, but it's almost like a plastic add-on to this circle. So I need hats desperately. I need somebody that can make me good hats, because I wear hats all the time and I need to advertise my own business, is what I'm getting at. Ooh, this is definitely the original box. Ooh, wow. And the reason... Oh. I got you, Patrick. The reason I brought up, you know, toy guns on YouTube is because they could literally use that as an excuse to completely nuke your channel, if you could believe it. So having said that, here is my next Atom toy. The Atom smoke gun. Now here's his evil dad. This is the dad that invented Astro Boy, and after a few years got tired that he wouldn't grow like a real boy, and sold him to this evil circus owner that used him to battle other robots. And if the robots didn't battle, he would cut off their electricity, their power, so they couldn't recharge. They must have had lithium-ion batteries. So this is the... This is the smoke gun, and it's big, man. I'm having a hard time displaying these guns. If anyone knows where to get those things that prop up guns, like you put them on the barrel, I think, I need a bunch of those, and I need some way to tier them on the shelves. So let's take it out of the box. Now, I will say this. Unfortunately, it's missing the end flaps. I'll have to look through the box to see if they're in there. Oh, wow. Oh, yeah, they are. Oh, thank God. Both end flaps are in here. Nice. Nice save. Nice save. I don't know how the hell I got to like where I need to buy every friggin' Astro Boy toy. I blame Josh. Josh, I blame you for my addiction problems now. Here you go. Oh, wow, look at that. That's pretty sweet. Let me make this bigger. Let me biggin this. Or as they say, bigly. Let's make this bigly. Will that trigger a few people if I say bigly? How freaking cool is that? Yeah, but Geppetto did not ditch Pinocchio. That's the thing. You know, you guys are going to have to sit tight because now I want to get batteries and see if this thing works. So there's a tripod over here. I'm not going to attach the tripod, but sit tight while I run and get a couple of double Ds, my favorite kind of Ds, the double kind. And, you know, entertain yourself with the fish. I'll be right back. There's nothing like the warm fuzzies when you're holding a pair of nice double Ds in your hand that you know as soon as you place them somewhere you're going to get the warm and fuzzies because they're going to activate a sense of wonder and energy. And this battery compartment looks a little loose. I'm skeptical, but yeah. So far, did I trigger the algorithm with that? So this is the button, and I am not getting anything. This might have to make a trip to the robot hut, but I don't see good connections in there. Astro Boy has failed me. Astro Boy needs to go back to the circus. Aw, this is a shame. I would have liked to have demoed this for you guys. Look at this. Double D's and the in and out movement there of the shaft. Well, we cannot see. Despite inserting double D's, you cannot get the shaft going in and out. So I'll give it a couple of taps just for the hell of it, but I have a feeling this is some kind of a design issue. Could be the switch too. This switch here. By the way, it does have a flip up sight here. Yeah. Hold it proper. We'll put it on the get back to it maybe pile. My tripod. I didn't even insert the tripod. I hope that's a joke. I wonder if the tripod somehow, like, no, there's no way that has anything to do with the connection. A couple more taps. Let me look at this. This battery seems okay. Yeah, sometimes it does take a little finessing. Kids, don't try this at home. You know, I guarantee you the kids, when they had this thing, they probably played the crap out of it, you know? It doesn't surprise me that these toy, like, guns are probably what gets the most usage. All right. So, last tap, tap. But I'm very, reluctant that this is going to fire up right now. I may get it later. At least I can move this. Because I'm not getting any power. This should light up over here. So my guess is it could be at the switch level here. There's very little play here. Very little play. So, quite honestly, I don't even see a bulb in there. Well, we'll see if the Robot Hut is willing to take the atom gun challenge. Put this back here. And that's your unboxing. Josh, what do you think of the gun? Have you seen that? Josh collects my sloppy seconds. Just kidding, Josh. Just kidding. No, that's opposite. Josh, I think, has nicer stuff than I do. As a matter of fact, I bet that Tessigen you got, Josh, is nicer than the one I got at Mondaraki. Anyway, all right. All right, what else is on the agenda for today? Well, unfortunately, you didn't get to see it working. I have my other thinner glasses. I wonder, I don't know if I like these Andy Warhol specs. Josh, you do have nicer stuff than I have, if you're saying that's not true. The condition of your stuff, the stuff you have, is probably nicer than what I have. That's 100% true. That is 100% true. So there's only 2 things left. We're going to go bargain hunting on eBay after I made that nice score on the little handgun. So let's look at vintage toys. Let's start today with robots, right on the old toy category. We're going to go with newly listed. Let's condense this a little bit so you see it all. So this is what just came out under all vintage toys. And we'll see if there's, under, again, newly listed. We'll go through a few pages of this, then we'll go through a few pages of space toys. Then maybe we'll put in some characters and see if anything is interesting there. Yeah, but it's quality over quantity, Josh. I saw this little saucer, by the way. It's an interesting piece. I'm not going to get it, but it's like a marine saucer, like a... look at this thing. Maybe somebody else would like it, though, so I'm pointing it out that it's an interesting toy. Marine spider, they call it. Yeah, I don't think I have any of my television Spacemans even displayed. I don't have room, unfortunately. Let's go back to it. Well, remember, I'm on a delay here, so when I'm speaking now, it's a little bit behind. I bought, I think, 3 keys. It's cost me $30, big wind-up keys. I need the original wind-up key for my Diamond Planet. And all of them have been too small. John suggested I get one for a clock, and I did, and it was still too damn small. I'm like, what the hell kind of wind-up mechanism is in this friggin' Diamond Planet? So far, no bargains, and I'm seeing some repeats. So I'm only going to go to 5 pages. Then I'm going to look at I'm I'm going to look at the highest price, see if anything slipped under the radar. Here's a cheap robot man. This is the old pricing. Back in the day, I mean, this is a pretty good condition, I guess. Box looks okay. Back in the old days, this wouldn't be outrageous. You know, $2,500 to $3,000. But right now, this is about $1,000, at least $1,000 overpriced, if not $1,200 overpriced. Oh, I went back. I'll go back to it on the saucer. I will go back to the saucer. Let me just get to page 5. I'm going quick, but, you know, trust me when I tell you I'm paying attention. My eyes are used to, like, you know. I'm like a mentat on Dune. Remember the mentats? They kind of mentally scan everything and their eyes are wigging out. Here you go. Now here's an Astro Boy gun. I probably don't have this version, but I'd like it with the box. Now here's another for Astro Boy collectors, but this isn't in that good of a condition, so it wouldn't be for me regardless. Regardless. That's like a reproduction box, I think. Here's a lavender robot. Not bad for $3,000. I'm not gonna. I do need the spice. I wish there was such a thing. Okay, page 5, and then we'll go back to the saucer. You know, once AI takes a hold, and AI that runs. Hey, 420 Painter, how are you? Once AI is running the show, you're going to wish we had mentats in real life, because we're going to be screwed by the people that program AI, because they're not going to program it for our benefits. Look at this vintage robot, wooden metal. It's an interesting looking piece. Looks like a home brew, like a craft toy or something, but folk art basically. All right, so I'm going to go back to this saucer. If it comes up. So this saucer here, I've never seen it before. They call it marine spider. And it's technically, well, it's a flying saucer for water. The box is way better than the toy. But the graphics are freaking great. And it claims it's 1960s Gakken. I don't know how big it is. It takes batteries. This can't be too small. It's tin in there at least. Got some kind of, I guess you put decals on it. So it's actually an interesting piece. Huh. Let me put this on the watch list. Josh, if you know anything about this saucer, let me know. Let's see what the seller says. Let's see the full description. Original and not a KO, vintage 60s Gakken, Japan battery op, comes in new old store stock condition. Box has wear, some crushing, battery function has been tested, works perfectly. Item still has the stickers unapplied. Item was designed for water. You know, it's a lot of plastic. Oh man, it's only buy it now. What do you think? Who thinks I should pull the trigger and buy it for the hell of it? I mean, it's been on here quite a bit. Oh yeah, I know Gakken too. That was, they didn't, what else did they say? Comes from a smoke-free home. That's kind of good in a way, because have you ever gotten a toy from a smoke-infested, infused home? They smell like crap. I mean, especially if you get a plush battery toy with all the fur. I mean, it smells like it's been sitting in a chimney. I don't know, Josh. I don't have mint in the box money. You know what I mean? To I could, throw around $299, yada yada yada. I do like the box, though. I don't know that I would ever display it. Let's see. It is cool, though. Those graphics are really cool. I haven't seen like a flying saucer on water like this. Marine spider. You know what I'll do? Before I do that, I'm going to tell you... I'm going to tell you another tactic of mine. When I come across something like this that I'm unfamiliar with, you know, sometimes I don't, but I will do the usual Google and see if there's any history whatsoever. In this case, no, but so there's nothing on here. Sometimes it'll come up. You have these. It only comes up with eBay. And is there any other description he could have given it? That's... Well, it looks like a Japanese market toy also. I'm hesitant that this is a 1960s toy. I do like these, though. Well, let's pull the trigger. Let's just go for it. Let's go for it. Message to the seller. Now I'm going to have to work extra hard to make up this $299 and, well, $310.84 with shipping. I write him, always please pack safely, thank you. So let me add that in there. I will pay with PayPal. Yeah. Complete purchase. All right, so I bought my second toy online. Now it's funny you say that. I was goofing with Eric, and I said, you know, now that interest rates have gone up, I'm only making $2,000 a day on interest. He gave me a throw up emoji. Oh God. Let's see. All right, so now let's just, for the hell of it, we got to go back to find. Let's see. You know what else we could find. So that's bought. I've never seen that toy either, so I'll put it on Alpha Drone. If nothing else, it's worth a video on my channel. Now, for the record, I may take the entire month of June off. You know, I haven't had a vacation in over 7 years now. It's going to be 8 years pretty soon. And I'm dead serious. I haven't had a real vacation in almost 8 years. Yeah, it is hard, Josh. And I think, well, I don't know what you respond when you said, poor you, it must be hard. I may take like all of June, no videos for June, because we're going on an Alaskan cruise, like finally taking a real vacation. And my wife is almost like, we're going to do this. So I think that's like 2 weeks. So it's possible I'm going to front load. I'm going to make all my videos for May. And other than shorts, I might pop some shorts, like if we see the Northern Lights. I don't know if I even care about that. Well, I should say, I better say, I do care. I do want to see the Northern Lights, whatever the hell they are. Lights in the sky. Why not? So now we're on space toys here. And we'll see if there's anything cool on the space toy front. I just got a message from PayPal. Do we have your right cell number? Man, it was so great back in the day when eBay first started and they had bid pay. BidPay was awesome. It was so much better than PayPal. And then once they got involved with PayPal, it was like all over. I remember when people never saw this flying police car and everyone was like, is that a real thing? I'm like, yeah, it's a real thing. It's a cool toy. I have it somewhere, but it doesn't have an astronaut or anything, but it's very spacey. So on the space toy front, and I just put in space to be like an all-encompassing term. I don't see much of anything. I'll just go 5 pages of space. And then I'm going to conclude the stream with the greatest space toy at the Griffith auction. And now I have conclusive proof, by the way. And my Mentat brain is scanning these things. Your mere mortal eyes cannot keep up with my enhanced perception. Now, this is a situation where, like, they're cheap. The toys themselves kind of stink, but they're water guns. But this is actually a really cool box. Really cool box. And actually, the guns themselves aren't bad. They're embossed with the astronaut. Great graphics. And believe it or not, I actually just got from Japan a counter box of 10 space guns that just had a cool counter box. I like the counter box. The graphics on it were really neat. I actually like this. You know what? I'm going to put this on the watch list. This is on the to-do list. $26. Hell, just for the box. I'm going to watch this. There's 20 hours. Maybe I'll buy it just for the box. And you know what? I don't even have to display the guns. Yep, you beat me to it, but I will get to that because I'll show you the definitive proof of what I'm referring to. After this, we'll go 5 pages of rockets. See if there's any rocket deals. So here's our 5th page of space. The reason I only go 5 is on newly listed. If there's any bargains to be had, like in a buy it now scenario, it's not going to last 5 pages. It might last 2 tops if it's miscategorized. That's what I'm looking for. If it doesn't last, you know, I mean, if it happens to last beyond that, it's probably not like a great deal. All right, so let's go up onto rockets. Rockets red glare. Yep, we're still on newly listed. Now, Josh, it's funny that you say that on as far as confirming the box, because I actually had a Facebook message from somebody that said, I confirmed the box. I mean, I confirm your toy based on the box. So, you know, we had a couple of sleuths out there. Man, what is it with this tiger mask? Is this thing worth this much moolah? I'm not even a huge fan of this toy. Somebody tell me what the deal is with Tiger Mask. I know that's an overpriced Japan auctioneer. Okay, here you go. Let's see the condition of this. So the long fin version of this is usually, if this is the one I'm thinking of, but this is still, it's got dents on the fins. Dents on the fins for me is a non-starter, but it's pretty cheap price for this. Now, if you need a parts toy or you need a fin, you know, this isn't a bad pickup for 49 pounds. True, but you might have some DNA on the toy itself if it has a particular scratch, a particular dent. Believe it or not, my Mighty Robot, the KO Mighty Robot that looks like the Chief Robot Man with all the gears in the head that spin around, that has a little tiny, it came from the Griffith auction right about here, has like a little tiny ding, almost like a little BB gun hit it. It's a charming flaw that I like because it proves it's from the Griffith auction. So, all right, well, so anyway, like the toys can have a distinctive mark on them. As for Tiger Mask, I'll pass at $4,500. I'll pass. That seems like a stretch to me. A huge stretch, an overreach. So nothing on the rocket front. Well, there's a lot of rockets, nothing that I would want. Yeah, that's missing a piece there. And the last but not page 5, and I do this for astronauts too, by the way. Sometimes this ephemera is kind of interesting. Let's see what this looks like. I like the graphics on this stuff. I wouldn't buy this one necessarily, but the Menko cards, they're kind of neat if you have a way to display them. Really nice graphics on this stuff. I'm just showing you to get an idea like what's kind of interesting out there. And was that the end? That was the end, my friends. Yep. All right. So to conclude today's stream, it's a $500 toy, and they're asking freaking, hey, Al, man, how are you? I hope I like it. I don't know how I got a dress in June. It's, you know, traveling to me is a hassle. We have to get to the Alaskan cruise, we have to fly to Dallas, then we have to fly to Seattle, and I guess the boat takes off from Seattle. Then we're going to stop in Vancouver, I think, or some part of Canada. I think it's Vancouver, the West Coast, and then go from there. And I think it's Oceania Cruise Lines. It's supposed to be a better cruise line. We'll see. You know, but like I said, I haven't had a proper vacation in 8 years. The last time I went, we went to St. Kitts, and that was, well, 8 years ago. Whatever the hell 8 years ago was. That was, I think, 2015 in July sometime. So anyway, the end of the stream is going to be this. This is the Griffith catalog I've gone over a million times. The one I actually had at my hand at the auction. So Josh pointed out the fingerprint of the toy is the box. So in this case, you see the staining and that little tear in the litho right there. Yeah, that little bit of paper loss. Oh, where's the hell is my finger? Right there, that little bit of paper loss. That little bit of staining on the edge, and the waviness. So somebody sent me this picture and said, dude, your toy is from that auction. So I said, let me, now, why the auction tags are gone, I have no idea. But then I said, you know what, I'm going to do this. And sure enough, there is the litho loss. Here is the staining. Whoop. Do it this way. It's hard to do it back. Here's the staining, and there's the waviness. So unless somebody, you know, went out of their way to duplicate that exact little bit of litho tearing, this is the toy that was in that auction. And you know, it's basically proof positive at this point. Now, what does that mean to me? Well, for a long time, I mean a long time. Now, let me ask you, Josh, have you seen it in the box twice? That's the question. And when you say twice, have you seen the same toy? I know in the Kitahara collection, it's loose, no box. Snowbox. So let me get one other toy that I'll show you while I wait for Josh's answer. And again, my question to you is, was the other one box, or A, do you know if it was even this toy that was recycled? Because this was sold at the Griffith auction. So whoever bought this, unless you know it was Steve that bought it at the auction, if he didn't buy it at the auction, then that means he got it from, unless it changed hands more than twice, or even once, that means yeah, but that's not my question. My question to you is, was the other one in the box? You said that you've seen two. Have you seen two boxed ones? And if you have seen two in the box, were they conclusively two separate ones, or could it be that this one was cycled through? Okay, in the box, again, was it in the box, the one you saw in Japan? So so just clarify, you saw one that was, so A, you physically saw it. B, did it have the box? Yours was one, the other one is, okay, so it had the box, and it went, it's a direct sale. Did it sell? Hair Juicer, how are you, my man? And the one you saw, was it sold to the United States, or was it sold to someone in Japan? I'm trying to find. While I'm waiting on that, I'm struggling to find this one toy. I should put up a poll, but it's because I keep looking up as I'm flipping pages. So now I have to look at these pages. I know, I hate the silence. Okay, I got it. So I submit to you, now let me make this bigger one last time. This to me was the considered the best space toy that was sold there for a couple of reasons. First of all, it's extremely rare. It's sold for, with the buyer's premium, about $40,000 in $2,000. So, in the year 2000. Now, I'll submit to you that, I did bring the toy, by the way, that this toy is actually more valuable, even though it only sold for about $6,000, because that Space Patrol car, Kitahara has it in the box. Now, the only thing about this toy, I've seen at least 4 other examples, but this so far, from what I understand, is the only one that has the original head. But I've been told that another well-known collector with the initials MP also has this with the original head. So there's at least 2 with the original head, and in the box in the States. And Kitahara's has it in the box, so there's at least 3 original boxes. Now his has a replacement head. And I know that there's a collector in California that has 2 of them in poor condition. Then there's another collector that was in Queens that bought one. So and I've seen about 4 of the toy loose. And also, I think the subject matter with this is a lot more interesting because you have a robot and you have an astronaut, and it's a character toy. So I'll leave it up to the people that watch this stream live or watch it later to decide which one is the more desirable toy. I would say that this is so much more obscure also. I think it's rare. I mean, like I said, I've seen more examples of that Space Patrol car loose, and the only ones I know of this toy are Kitahara's loose, this one, and the one Josh mentioned. That's 3. So I'm not quite convinced that there are a lot more of these toys because, again, it's an obscure show. It wasn't meant for the American market, where this one was clearly, I mean, it's in English, the box. You know, this is one of those toys that you never know, like one day it pops up, maybe in Europe or something. I mean, I don't know. I mean, obviously I would love to have them both, but I'd say they're equally as desirable. If you put them at an auction house today, Mandarake, Japan, this is how I will close the stream, and then maybe Josh can chime in on this. If you put this Space Patrol car in the box at Mandarake with the correct head, and you put this Ultraman tank with the Hack robot or the Huck robot, both of them in the box, like this, which one do you think would go for more money? Which one would be more desirable, and why do you think that? I'm just curious. That's kind of how I'll conclude the stream. Before I do, I'll wait and see if Josh chimes in. I should play the Jeopardy clock or something. What's that song? Doo 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 doo. All right, if you feel that way, why do you feel that way, Josh? I'm just curious. You know, I'm getting, perspectives on this. You should have sold it for more. Get out of here. That makes up for all the other stuff I overpaid for, like the freaking wind-up, what the hell you call it, Super Coon. Well, the other one's not common. They're both very rare. And the other one, to my knowledge, there's only 2 known complete examples. Because right now, people realize how uncommon it is loose, let alone in the box. All right. Well, that would be a good battle. So I think we could all agree that those 2 toys were the best space toys by far. They might even be tied. I mean, but we do know that, like, the car sold for $40,000. This only sold for about $6,000. So this was an absolute steal of the auction. Now, Josh, this cost me a hell of a lot more than $6,000. But it didn't cost me what the car cost me still, which is nice. So it's an interesting discussion. Yes, Chat GPT. Chat GPT will say, "What the F are you talking about? I have no idea what the hell these toys are." Anyway, that pretty much concludes the stream, my friends. I thought, I'd focus more on the toys at the end, like I tend to do. And hopefully when I get that gun tinkered with, I could actually make a video of it working. So I'm surprised I had enough energy I think we went way over an hour. And I'm surprised I had the energy, like I said, because after that concert, man, I felt like I was so freaking hungover, and all I had was a can of water. And by the way, that's what Jacob Dylan was drinking too, a can, because they give you the water in the can for some reason. So anyway, listen, thank you everybody for tuning in. It's greatly appreciated.